Let's move on to something more technical, the forward pass, because I did not notice that Jacob Little, he's a serial offender in the forward pass out of Damien half. A serial offender. There's been talk in the past about technology and how this can be solved, whether in fact we want it or not. What's the latest?
Well, that's a really good question, Tone, whether we want it or not, because suddenly it starts to work with the pull away of the fabric of the game.
Yep.
What is happening is the NRL are investigating possible computer technology inside the Steeden, inside the footy. That will allow to read the data of whether the pass has gone forward or not, out of the hands or backward out of the hands. What's happening is it's currently being trialled in the NRLW. There's been a few games with the computer chip in the footy. That data hasn't been analysed by the NRL as yet. What they are asking the company who runs the technology to do is collate as much data as they can out of these trial of the technology in the NRLW, and then they're going to assess it on whether they want to push ahead with it. I believe they will, early as next year. I think this season might come too quickly, but I think it's right on the radar that we're going to see technology as far as forward passes being able to be read by a computer out of a Steeden. The key questions for me is when I talk about the fabric of the game, there are passes in our game that are line ball that are better left line ball and play on to instead of stopping the game to pull it back, of which the question would be is, does this technology start to slow the game down by pulling up every marginal pass? However, the NRL and the technology does have the parameters to set a certain degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, in the technology to allow some line ball passes to go ahead.
Well,
so
a line ball's not okay anyway.
Well, sorry, you know what I'm saying. So marginally forward, slightly forward.
Well, you're not allowed to.
Yes, Jimmy, I understand what you're saying, but we're only looking at a particular angle as far as vision is concerned at this point in time.
Is the referee independently allowed to say, I think that's a forward pass?
Yeah, absolutely.
Without waiting for the bells and whistles?
I think
for the guy in the lab coat?
I think the important thing about this is what I've read about it is it happens in real time.
Yep.
So we're not gonna be deliberating, or pull and play back. Obviously, I watched the English Premier League very closely. VAR had some teething problems, and it has taken away those moments of celebration, like instant celebration, that ecstasy that you have when your team scores. It's like, well, hang on, what's going to happen with the VAR? They're going to check this, and
much like the bunker, Jimmy. Much like the bunker.
Yeah, your head's in your hand, and it's an interesting one with technology and sport. Like if you go back to the 80s and time travel back there and speak to fans on the hill wherever and say, hey, in 2000 and whatever, there's going to be a huge screen in the ground and every try is going to be checked. To be like, well, you're mad. But with now, imagine watching a game without the video ref. It's almost inconceivable the way some of the finishes that the players put on, the obstruction rules. Referees would be under so much scrutiny. But what the technology does, it takes away the in the pub banter, the at home banter, the WhatsApp group banter, stuff like this on the radio, like, oh, should it have been an obstruction? Shouldn't it have been an obstruction? I personally think, and I've said this before, that where the game and most sports will go is that there'll be a robotic referee, and there won't just be a chip in the ball. There'll be a smart field. And there'll be jerseys that are worn as well. So the ball, when tries are close and you don't know if they're held up, there'll be a chip in the ball. And because the field is smart, it will know if there's been contact with the ball and the ground. So it'll take away all these moments of conjecture. There's no turning around and go, well, that wasn't a try. Well, it was because we've got the proof.
Tony, what is this guy doing on radio? He's too smart for us.
I know, he's amazing.
There's R2-D2 running around in the referee.
We wouldn't have to go to the ground. We'll just be in our lounge rooms with a bit of turf just running in.
Yeah, man, that could be
just virtual reality.
Things like the offside. If you've got a robotic referee, you can get people behind the plane. And if you've got a smart chip in the ball with a smart boot, you know when the ball's been played. And if you as a player break the plane, you're offside, boom, penalty. Then you get no influences like the old Cameron Smith, smooth talking the referee. Imagine trying to smooth talk a robot. He'll just sing you for 10. Doesn't matter who you are.